Today on the Nerdy Gritty, Natalie Portman wore a dress displaying the names of female directors she felt were snubbed to the Oscars. Would a boycott of the show been a more effective protest?
One more world disappears inside it. Just another hopeless addict. World that makes a man instead. If the drums don't get you, the guitars will.
Hey guys, welcome back to the Nerdy Gritty. While we're delve deep
Just
into the details
once,
of
we
pop
need to get
culture.
through this without it
Yeah,
being such a
100%.
weirdo thing.
Where we delve deep into the details of pop culture. I'm lovable Dez.
And I'm Oscar Bluth.
You're Oscar Blue. We went
It's
different
Oscar
directions.
related.
I went the Valentine's Day route.
Oh,
you
I
went the
see.
I guess yours
And
is
I'm-
more
I'm
the topic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's kind of what I go by. But also,
good.
people call me Fox.
That's true. That's true.
That's a true statement.
Who is Oscar Bluth?
He's from Arrested Development.
Oh yeah.
So anyway,
Anyway.
hey, tomorrow for us and for you, our dear
This
listener,
past Friday.
at least this past Friday or even earlier, is Valentine's Day.
It was the lovable day.
It's that great holiday that everybody loves that makes nobody feel left out. It's Valentine's Day, and we want to talk about who. I'm going to ask you first because I think I'm going to try to guess who yours is because I think I already know who it is.
Okay.
Who, when you were young, or I guess today, which would be a little weird.
I've got one of each.
Yeah, I'm sure. No, I can guess both. I absolutely yes.
Can you? Okay.
Easily. Yes. Who is your video game girlfriend?
My video game girlfriend.
And nope. I'm guessing who yours are.
Growing up.
Growing up, Tifa Lockhart.
One of them, yes. That's not who I was going to go with.
Oh,
though.
okay.
100% Tifa, though.
Okay.
Definitely.
Yeah, that's the obvious.
But there was one around the same time, maybe before. I'm not sure. I'd have to look at the actual timeline of the release dates. Okay.
All right.
I'll give you some hints. Ready? Strong female character.
Lightning.
Very daring.
Still lightning.
The most triangular boobs on the face of the planet.
Oh, Lara Croft.
Lara
Okay.
Croft. Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's fair.
Every boy in my age loved Lara Croft.
Yeah, well, here's the thing. Tomb Raider is one of the first games I played. I remember playing it on my uncle's computer in Tennessee when I'd go and visit. And I don't remember that being... I mean, I guess I was much younger. I was probably like 6 or 7 when I was playing it. And that's not really... I just remember like finding it too difficult. But yeah, no, that's not surprising.
No, I mean... It was so popular. There was the Nude Raider, like DLC mod for it and
yeah,
everything.
not DLC.
No.
Why Lara Croft, aside from her design? Is that the only reason?
Her physical design.
Is that the only reason?
No, because I mean, obviously,
really love them polygons.
Way back
I can
into
count
like,
all of them.
The 16-bit era, they were making shapely women and things like that.
That's very true.
You know, so
Yeah.
no, it was mostly just that she was such like a cool female lead, and
Yeah.
I didn't even know at the time that a female lead, that's so rare. She's so strong.
Right.
Like she is created sexualized, but she is not a sexualized character. Like they don't have her stripping.
Yeah,
all the
that's not her
time
role in the game.
right at all. She's just a really strong character in
Right.
the game, and so
Yeah.
I didn't realize that at the time, but I do know I found that super attractive about her.
Sure. Here
All right,
it is.
Your I have no idea what your childhood would have
Yeah,
been.
no.
Pikachu.
No. No, definitely Yuna from Final Fantasy X.
Oh yeah, I could have guessed that.
She was adorable, of course, but also
Yeah.
just again a very strong character. Where there's like this vulnerability about her, and I don't mean that in a creepy way, but just that she grows stronger as she like gains confidence and like has this resolute attitude toward the commitment she makes. It is a really good, and she's not like beholden to anybody. And
Right.
yeah.
When
Aside
you said,
from her convictions.
when you said not in a creepy way, I would never have thought anything. I said
No, here's the
vulnerable, not in a
thing, though.
creepy way, and I'm like, oh, so now you're a predator.
No,
and
we
she
all.
is prey.
Well, no, that's what I'm saying is that's what predators are really after, somebody who's vulnerable
right.
to exert their power. And to say that the character is attractive because of her vulnerability is, it could be a weird thing.
I can see that. Yeah.
So no, she was just like, I think she was a very well-rounded character.
I wholeheartedly agree.
And
you get to
I
see
really
her grow.
appreciated her.
Like you get to see her grow really well.
Yeah.
In that arc.
All right.
No, that's a good
my
one.
other. Well, let's go with your other one. And I think I'm gonna
you
guess.
can guess this one.
Yeah. Senua.
Senua.
Yeah. Which is
easy.
weird to
How
me.
is that
I mean,
weird?
no, I get it. I haven't played the game actually, so I don't know everything about her. But to me, she's not really a character to like idolize in that way. Which I'm not saying that you're just idolizing these
for
characters,
me,
but
it's like where absolutely Tomb Raider was a sexual thing,
Sure.
and Tifa was a sexual thing as a 13 and 14-year-old boy.
right.
It's 0% that was.
Yeah,
Senua.
no. I understand.
Senua is like, she's just such a full-rounded character that's so honestly vulnerable but trying to pick herself up, and she just has these traits about her that are just super attractive and super cool and really strong. On my shelf next to us, I have the two strongest women I know, my wife and Senua. And like that, to me, it's just so cool to have like these characters who, my wife's not a character, but these people who
No, she's a character, all right.
have struggles and difficulties in life, but are still super strong for it. And so, yeah, Senua is absolutely my modern day one.
Sure, I understand. I that's the easiest guess I've ever had.
Yeah.
My other one is still from my young age, and that'd be Kira from Jak and Daxter. Do you ever play Jak and Daxter?
And I didn't play it, but I think I know who you're talking. No, I know exactly who you're talking about.
She's in all three, and she's the love interest of Jak eventually.
Yeah.
But she's like spunky, green-haired, like mechanic lady
Yes,
who's the daughter
yes.
of, I think, the daughter of like the sage in the opening.
What
And
is
she's
it
just
with
fun and
female mechanics that in video games they don't wear a mechanic appropriate clothing?
look. What's her name from Final Fantasy 15? That's just a uniform she's given. Okay. It's not up
All
to
the
her.
guys are wearing the same thing. It's weird.
Look, go. I mean, nah, that game had problems, but yeah, nah. Well, I mean, I could go with the whole, it's because of the patriarchy, like it's because of male centric design, and saying that, oh, she's a mechanic. Well, that's a male job, so we have to make her more sexy. That kind of thing.
Like super.
Right.
Yeah.
We have to make up for it for our fans.
Let us know who your video game Valentine is.
Yeah. Happy Valentine's Day.
Yeah.
If that's your thing. And
Happy
if
Valentine's
it's not,
Day, Tifa, Lara, and
Yeah.
Senua. I love all three
please
of you.
answer my letters. I'm waiting to hear back from you, Kira.
Hey, Fox, incredible important news.
Ooh.
Incredible important news. Are you ready
Incredible.
for this? Steamed hams is returning.
Wait, what?
Do you
They're
know
putting-
about steamed hams?
Well, of course I do. I'm not.
Okay,
I'm
the
not,
meme.
I don't live under a rock.
Steamed hams. So for those of you who don't know,
Yes.
there's a Simpsons episode with like 22 short films from Springfield or something like that, and there's one episode where Principal Chalmers comes to, Superintendent Chalmers.
Super Nintendo Chalmers
comes to Principal Skinner's house, and it's this whole debacle.
Just
Steamed
go look
hams.
it up. Just go look up steamed hams and try to find the
But it
original
was
instead of all the memes.
meme-tastic.
It was memed to the nth degree.
And it's wonderful.
It's hilarious.
I love it.
Right.
Season 32 of The Simpsons is returning to steamed hams.
Of course. it
They're
is.
not saying why yet. They're not saying how
course it
or
is.
what. But steamed hams is returning in season 32
See,
of The
we
Simpsons.
talked about The Simpsons a couple weeks ago, and this is a problem.
How is this a problem?
I don't want to me The Simpsons should be above just responding to culture, to me this is hey, we're not as popular anymore. Let's try to
The Simpsons have always been a cultural
No,
commentary.
I'm not saying that they can't respond to culture. That's what they do a lot of times.
Yes.
But this to me is people like that? Well, let's jump in on the craze and get steamed hams back in there.
If that were the case, I think they would have done this years ago. I think now this is almost...
steamed hams as a meme was like last year. Like,
It was like 3 years ago.
are you sure?
No, but...
I feel like it's much more recent than that. Anyway,
I know that
sure.
when I...
Look,
when
here's
I
what
got
I think.
into
I'm
steamed hams...
equally not going to watch it.
Yeah, that's
It's
true.
not
That's
gonna
very
affect-
true. But for those of you who memed the crap out of steamed hams, congratulations. It's coming back.
And it's going to be not as funny. I promise you that.
I think this is just them
And
responding
exploitative.
to the time. Like, it's almost meta to me. Like, they're a show that responds to the culture, and
Sure.
they're a part of the culture, and so they're responding to themselves. Like,
All right.
yeah.
We'll see. Actually, I won't. I'm not going to watch it either.
Yeah, well, we'll see the
Maybe I'll
memes.
watch it on YouTube.
We'll
or-
see the memes. Yeah.
Yeah. So, have you ever heard of the game Star Citizen?
Star Citizen.
If I tell you more about it, you probably wouldn't know about it.
It sounds very familiar.
It's a game that started crowdfunding.
It
and
also
hit-
sounds like a pretend game in a movie.
He's
always playing that Star
I've
Citizen.
reached level 9 in Star Citizen. No, Star Citizen is a purely crowdfunded game. And when it was kickstarted, and it started hitting records of how much money purely from crowdfunding it made. Star Citizen, so let me give you a few things here. Launched a Kickstarter in 2012. Kickstarter only lasts
a while ago. Yeah.
8 years ago. Only lasts about 30 days, at least back then. I think they can be a little longer now, but they were 30 days back then. It raised a bunch of money. It continued its own kickstarting on its own website or its own crowdfunding on its own website, and continued to raise crazy amounts of money. I want you to guess for me, last year alone, 2019, how much money did it make?
Star Citizen last year made $20 million.
No. $47.74 million.
Holy crap.
In the 8th year of its crowdfunding development.
Crap.
Overall.
Hang on, is this game not out yet?
No.
How much money do they have?
I'll tell you right now. They're self-reported. To be fair, it does not include any returns or refunds or anything that they've issued.
It's like $100 million.
No, $267 million.
$267 million. But there's no game yet.
There is no let's see. I
want to be clear. People are just giving them money right now.
Launched as a Kickstarter campaign, the Star Citizen project has two main products. The first, referred to as the Persistent Universe, is an MMO like experience that is currently playable, albeit in an incomplete pre-alpha state.
Oh, jeez.
The second, a single-player game called Squadron 42, is expected to enter beta later this year.
So there's no complete product.
It will include the acting talents of Mark Hamill, Gillian Anderson, and Henry Cavill. There is no complete product that they have released 8 years into development, and they are still setting yearly records on crowdfunding.
This is a drug cover.
That's what it is.
This is money laundering.
That's exactly what
Star
this is.
Citizen
money laundering.
does not exist.
This is a Breaking Bad situation.
The reviews for Sonic the Hedgehog have come in. The early reviews.
I haven't seen. Okay, I'm planning on seeing it maybe tonight, but
early reviews. It's not very good.
Yeah, well, obviously, I called that months ago. Like, even though they made this
everybody called that.
Yeah, they put this whole effort into, like, did anybody? You can't polish a turd. You can't re-CGI a turd and have it not be a turd. Like,
it's not horrific. It's got like a 43 Metascore.
I'm sure it's perfectly normal.
I'm sure kids are gonna love it.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. We have talked about E3 in the past, about how it's kind of evolving or needs to evolve to stay alive. Well, there's bad news for E3. Jeff Keighley, who is the creator and host of the Game Awards, and also basically just a gaming industry stalwart, been a journalist and all that for a long, long time. He has also been a pretty big part of E3, hosting a lot of, I think it's called like the E3 Arena or something, or E3 Coliseum, which I think is essentially like a host of the show, essentially. Right. He has chosen not to participate this year.
I saw that.
He has been a part of it for 25 years since it started, and this is the first time he's not. And what was more interesting, like, sure, that's not surprising to me. What was more interesting in what he said was, it's not just, like, you could say, I'm pursuing other things, or I can't because schedule. But he actively said, I think it needs to change. That's why I'm not participating. And that's more interesting to me. I think E3 needs to become more digital and global. It's a brand that means to a lot of people, and it shouldn't just be a show floor.
No, I saw that, and I thought it was very wise and cool of him. I thought it was a really good decision. Just one of those ways of being like, look, I'm not going to throw shade. I'm not going to say you suck and I hate you guys or anything like that, because I don't want to do that. In fact, I love this show, but I think it needs to be better. It needs to be different because I'm not going to be there this year. You got to give credit to E3 for establishing a lot of the way that we do these shows today, but now everybody's looking to E3 to also be the forefront of the change on the way it's handled, and it's not that anymore.
Well, here's the thing. I think PAX has already kind of taken it to a better place, where it's like
PAX has become that.
We are a gaming show, but also we're not just in Seattle anymore.
Right.
We have too many fans in Boston or on the East Coast that want to go, so let's put one in Boston.
PAX West, PAX East, PAX South, PAX Australia.
PAX Australia, PAX Dev, PAX
yeah.
Indie.
PAX
like
Unplugged.
PAX Unplugged. That's the PAX Indie one. Like they have recognized that there are more people that want to go, and living in like the Australia one, I think is super cool because that's a forgotten market a lot of times. I really think that they've done a very good job of kind of making it more inclusive. It requires money to do that and success, which E3 has.
What do you say we get under the nitty-gritty?
No, we got stuff to talk about.
Oh, we got more stuff to talk about?
No, what have you been doing this week?
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, we
What
did
have
this
I been
whole
doing?
thing.
How do I, man?
Where have you
It's
been?
been a rough morning.
It's
okay?
true. You
we talked about this.
Yeah. That's fair. Yeah, so I'll start first to give you a chance
go
to.
ahead.
Well, actually, I'm going to start
No,
first,
I
but
have
it's
to,
actually
but-
both of us. Because we went and saw Birds of Prey this weekend.
Yeah, we did.
Birds of Prey, or the Fantabulous and the Fantabulous Emancipation of One Harley Quinn. Great title. Okay movie. You liked it more than I did.
Yeah,
I thought
did.
I'd give it a solid 6.5 or 7 out of 10.
I'd say 7.5.
It was
or an 8.
fine. It was fine. It was fun to watch at certain points. And this might be a personal thing, but I have a hard time getting past like
Female leads.
women
you.
go home. If they're not just in a kitchen in the movie, they're bad. I'm really looking forward to WandaVision because clearly she's just going to be a good sitcom wife, and that's it. That's all it's going to be about. Really excited.
Well, I have been trying to find something to do with my Switch now that I've played the crap out of Luigi's Mansion and Pokemon.
Yep.
And I downloaded a game. It's called, I think, Color Match is the game, and it's essentially just a mobile game.
Okay.
That's on there. But
we found out there's a lot of those.
yeah. Oh my god.
Did this cost This cost 4 cents or?
It was free.
Oh, okay.
I googled free games.
Sure.
Or not googled. I searched free games in the store, and it is a really pretty, compellingly fun puzzle game.
Oh.
And gosh, now I want to go get my Switch so I can give you guys the exact name of it. But essentially, here's what it is. There is a border color that's around the border, obviously. And every time there's movable objects of a color, like movable shapes of one color, every time you match two colors together, the middle becomes that color entirely other than the other shapes. And your goal is to match and eliminate colors, but with your final match being that border color, so the entire screen ends up being
Color
one
Zen?
color. Color Zen, yes. Color Zen.
Thank you, Internet.
Yes, thank you, Internet. Color Zen. And it's a very chill.
Yeah.
They say in the description, our goal is to let you plug in your headphones and relax and chill. And
Nice.
it's exactly that.
I was gifted the book Norse Mythology by Neil Gaiman.
Ooh.
By my father-in-law. Thank you very much, because it's real fun to read. It's essentially just Neil Gaiman's interpretation, and I don't think it's really translation. Maybe he did a little of that in it, I think he talked about, but it's really just kind of his interpretation and retelling of some Norse mythological stories, and they are all very relatively short, 10 pages of just let's talk about Loki's kids. So it's really fun to read. Also, hey, Norse mythology, you okay?
No.
It gets
No, they
bonkers
are
at
not.
times.
Man, the way that we try to explain the world, and it's really, I understand some of you out there are like, wait, aren't you guys Christians?
Oh, yeah.
Yes, we are. And I will tell you exactly.
No.
No, we won't get into that.
Yo, the Bible, you okay?
Yeah, sometimes
It gets
weird.
bonkers at times.
But the way that people would see the world and try to just explain it.
Yeah.
But without actually knowing anything about it. Yeah, both Greek and Norse mythology get real weird.
Yeah. I mean, that's just a classic. Every religion or every culture has their origin myths, and they make perfect sense to the people who created
Zeus
them.
seduces a woman as an animal. He comes down to the earth, turns into a swan, and then a woman's like, that's a good looking swan. Look at that swan. Okay.
Oh, I've made my way through the pantheon. Let's see, what else can I seduce?
Weird.
Yeah, no, Loki does that with a horse at one point, and then there's a lot of reasons behind it, but I don't know how to pronounce it. Sleipnir, basically the 8-legged horse of Odin.
Sounds like a sleep a medication.
S-L-E-I, yeah, it does.
Ask your doctor about Sleipnir. See if it's right for you.
And someday sleep will be near to you. S-L-E-I-P-N-I-R. Sleipnir, slept. Anyway, 8-legged horse that he gifts to Odin is actually his child. And it
so weird.
specifically says at the end of the story they didn't really talk about who its parents were very much. Like, they all knew. They just kind of avoided the topic. It was very funny.
Hey, I gave you a horse.
Where'd you get it?
Isn't this...
Gotta go.
You know what? Thanks. I'm reading through Blood of Elves, the Witcher book.
Yeah.
I think this is the first like official
story. First in the saga.
Yeah, the saga. I think I've reached peak high fantasy in it.
Yeah.
And I'm getting to a point where I'm starting to be like, these names are all blending together, man. Mm-hmm. Come on. Like, and so there was one point in which bad guy is talking to lead henchman, and he's like, oh, did you go to Ik von Lehman and speak to King Margot Flubel about Queen Flibble about
I love
this
Queen
thing
Flibble
and that? And like it just goes on. It's literally a paragraph of names and places that mean nothing to me. And like I was at the end of it, I was like, woof. That was a
lot of times that's not going to matter a whole lot if you remember them. It's fine.
But at the same time, just before that, there was this huge conversation about some of those kings, or between some of those kings and queens that were mentioned, about, hey, what are we gonna do with Calanthe? We want to get it back, but if we get it back, who's gonna rule? We can't just set up one of our own rulers.
Like Ciri.
Yeah, so we should. Well, the city of Calanthe. No, the city. Yeah, Calanthe.
It's Queen Calanthe.
Oh, then Sintra. What do we do with Sintra? That's what it is. What do we do with Sintra? And then it's just this huge political conversation of, how do we establish a rule where the people are going to want to protect it, that it's not just another pretend ruler in there?
Right.
Do we try and find the Lion Cub of Sintra? Mm-hmm. Is she even alive? And it's this long conversation about this, again, political ruling system.
Yeah.
And it was so good and so fascinating. And on one side, where I just get blurred with the high fantasy of it, it suddenly grounds itself in reality like this.
That's all I've got. I've been doing much lately.
Yep.
So yeah, now I will allow us to get down to the nerdy gritty.
Thank you, sir. Hey guys, before we continue, we just want to let you know that what you just heard was actually an edited down version of the full podcast. We call it the short version. If you'd like to listen to what we call the director's cut, we'd really appreciate for you to head on over to our Patreon. That's patreon.com/dezandfox. At our second and third tiers, we offer an unedited version of our podcast, as well as all of our Patreon exclusive content. This means that videos that come out early, or when we talk about new stuff that we're doing, a lot of that shows up on our Patreon, or if we record an entire game through, we do the entire playthrough and put it on Patreon in one big chunk, and so you can binge watch that. All kinds of cool things like that happen on our Patreon all the time. But if that's not something that you can do, we totally understand. We just love when you guys support us in any way that you can. So when you like, comment, share, or rate us, that means the world to us. Thanks again, guys, and enjoy the podcast. So this was actually one of our nerdy gritty topics that came up 100% organically just between the two of us.
Yeah.
Fox came over on Sunday while the Academy Awards were going on, so he and I could finish up Luigi's Mansion. And we were just chatting about the Academy Awards because we don't really watch them. We just look back at them afterward.
Right.
And
first of all, hey, nailed it on the best movie prediction. I was right.
Good work.
And I'm always right.
Yeah, 1 for 20. Good job.
That's the only thing it's real bad stats because I only guessed one of them.
So I was just doing the live updates on who was winning, but there were articles on the side of things going on, and one was Brad Pitt talking about the impeachment trial.
Yep. I was told I got 45 seconds, which is more time, 45 seconds more than the whatever the Senate gave to John Bolton.
Right. Josh Gad mentioned climate change.
Well, sure.
Yeah, jokingly, but more specifically
because his character would melt.
No, he said...
Oh, right. He's a magical character that doesn't melt.
He said the movie that climate change deniers would call Not Frozen 2.
Oh, yeah. Got him.
Woo! Obviously, he didn't write that. He was reading a teleprompter. I'm sure he read that and he's like, do I... Anyway, but the question that I really had was, Natalie Portman had a gown that had embroidered in it the names of all the women she considered snubbed at the Oscars.
Yeah, I think they were specifically directors, if I'm not mistaken.
I think female directors, yes.
Because
she was presenting Best Director.
And they were all male.
All male. And so when she actually went up to present Best Director, she said, and here are your all male nominees.
Yeah.
So she very much wanted to make a point of stating that all of the Best Director nominees were male and that she considered that a problem. I turned to Fox with a genuine question that this was one that I wasn't trying to make a point with. I don't know the answer to this, and we just wanted to discuss it. And that is, wouldn't it make a better statement to not go at all? Me finding out that Natalie Portman had a protest at the Oscars makes me go look at the Oscars, go watch that video of the Oscars,
right?
Go see what's going on with
Directs
the Oscars.
your eyeballs toward
Who else
the thing.
Did stuff at the Oscars.
Right.
And if you're going to protest the Oscars, isn't that counterproductive? You know, they say no press is bad press.
Sure.
You're getting all this attention. But at the same time, if she just didn't go at all, the Oscars would still happen. There would be so many famous people there. Everybody's going to watch. Anybody who's going to watch is going to watch anyway.
Yeah. That was kind of where I came. I was like, you know, people who are going to watch it are going to watch it either way.
So here's the question that I want to give to you, Fox, and then I want to just kind of toss back and forth thoughts and ideas for a while. But first and foremost, don't you think it would have been more effective? Because I think at the end of the day, I think it would have been more effective for her to release a video or a tweet just saying, hey, I have been invited to the Oscars. I have been invited to present Best Director.
Right.
I am choosing not to go because it is all male directors when there were plenty of incredible female directors who deserved a nomination.
I think that would certainly make a statement. And
right.
I absolutely believe and agree with you that would definitely do something. I do think it would have been a little more effective if she was actually like in contention for an award or something.
Right.
She, as far as I know, she was not really up for any nominee or any category.
Did she star any movies this last year?
I mean, she was in movies,
right? But nothing.
But I don't. Yeah, she wasn't nominated for anything. And if you know, Saoirse Ronan, who's up for Best Actress, or not Natalie Portman, that's what we're talking about. Black Widow. Scarlett Johansson, who was up for Best Actress and Best Supporting Actress.
Right.
If she had said, "Hey, I'm done. Like, I'm out. Like, this isn't okay." Like, and then especially if she like won and wasn't there to pick it up, like that would have been a pretty big statement. But Natalie Portman wasn't, and so I think to me, for her specifically in her situation, going and doing some sort of protest, I think there could have been a much stronger protest that she could have done while there, but doing something would have made a bigger statement because her not being there really wouldn't have affected the actual event. It would have just been another celebrity that's not there but doesn't actually need to be.
Yeah, but you're Natalie Portman. If you're say Helen Hunt and you've been invited to the Oscars,
sure,
and guess what, Helen Hunt, we love you, you're great, but it's been years since you've really been in the spotlight, and you decide I'm not going to go to the Oscars because protest, whatever else, sure. But when you're Natalie Portman, and
here's
you
the thing,
say,
man, Natalie Portman hasn't really made anything great in a long while.
Doesn't mean she's not really popular.
I guess, yeah, that's true. She was Padme, everybody's favorite.
She's Jane Foster, is going to be in Thor: Love and Thunder.
That's a good point. I didn't think about that one.
Yeah, she like people are thinking about her. Right
I
now.
suppose she's still in the news pretty often.
Yes,
for whatever role she's in,
and to be in that spot, yes, I agree. Maybe she's not Scarlett Johansson right now, kind of A-list or what I would call S-list of the.
She hit the S rank.
Yeah, the S rank.
She hit triple S rank
on
her Devil May Cry level that they made about her.
So, you know, because I think there are A-listers, and then I think that sometimes there are the above and beyond of the A-listers. But anyway, yes, Natalie Portman isn't at the height of her fame, but she ain't.
It's funny because she's short.
She ain't being forgotten about, though.
It's true. People cared. People do care. It came up.
So I wonder, because her goal is to get people talking about this, which success.
We're having this conversation.
Having the conversation right here. But I wonder, wouldn't more people be talking about it if she didn't go at all. If she had made, because right now, anybody who, like you said, anybody who watches the Oscars is going to watch the Oscars.
For the most part, yeah.
So they saw her do that, but I doubt they're going to be like, oh, well, now next year I'm not going to watch the Oscars. Or even if they say that right now, 365 days from now, are they going to remember or even care that they said, I'm not watching the Oscars next year? I wonder if maybe it's people who already don't watch the Oscars, or maybe people like you and I who just kind of watch Oscars in the peripheral.
Yeah, or just like note it in the general
Right,
miasma
who
of culture.
Google the awards the next day.
Right.
Those people, I wonder if her Oscar articles, because I would consider the news on her were Oscar articles. I think if they were just our news articles about Natalie Portman and about her protest of the Oscars and that she was invited and that she chose not to go, I feel like that would have been talked about sans Oscars without being an Oscar.
Well, it's still
article,
Oscars related.
Right.
It's not
Oscars
outside of the realm of the Oscars. She's
Right.
still choosing not to go to this specific event.
I just wonder, and I guess this goes into the purpose of protest, of like what your end goal is, who you're protesting to and whatnot. But would there not be more people who would see her protest and say to themselves, you know what, man, I'm on the peripheral of the Oscars, I Google it, but I'm not going to Google it right now. I'm not going to Google it next year. I'm not going to watch the videos.
I think I might agree with you to a certain point where she is still contributing to the Oscars. She is I would say mildly protesting.
Right.
Names listed on her Dior dress that still cost, priceless because it's not something you can buy.
Right.
And still is presenting an award, even if she does specifically say all male directors. Like,
Right.
she's still part of it's the idea of like fighting from the inside. But I don't know how hard that fight was.
And again, so let's pretend for a moment that it's a golf course, and it's like it was up until like the 80s that there were some all white golf courses.
Mm-hmm.
And let's pretend for the first time ever they invite Tiger Woods to go play on their golf course.
Yeah.
And he shows up and he says, what's happened here is terrible. The fact that you guys are only letting me in, that's it, and nothing else, and it's terrible. Anyway, let's play 18.
let's hit a few rounds.
Yeah.
You know?
I feel like that's
Let's play that old ball chess.
where
The King's game.
The King's game. Whereas if they said, we are inviting Tiger Woods to our golf course, and he said,
Nah,
no,
man.
thank you. No, thank you, because what you're doing is wrong. I feel like that would be so much more of an impact. And maybe not many people hear about it because obviously the cameras are at the golf course and he's not going to be there.
Well, people would hear about that.
People would hear about it.
Sure.
They would. And the same way, they invite Natalie Portman to present this award, and she says, no, thank you. I dislike your nominees. I dislike what you've done.
I think
here.
here's the difference to me, because I'm also 100% support it. This is what you believe. This is how you choose to go about it.
Yeah.
100%. Like, she didn't do anything wrong in my opinion.
No.
There might have been a better way, but here's the difference between your specific metaphor or example and what actually happened is that the Oscars are, again, that we've talked about this. It's essentially just like an industry awards night.
Right.
There's nothing like cosmic about it where it's like, obviously these are the greatest of all, like, of the year. Nobody can dispute that. And I think that's where the difference is this is like, it is the opinions of people involved in creating. Like, if Tiger Woods, it is a non-arguable fact that to say only white people are allowed here is a racist statement.
Yes.
Like, even if you are okay with it, you can't say it's not racist. To say that all men being directed or chosen for this category, you can say that that's sexist, but somebody can disagree with you and say, well, no, there were some great female directors. Greta Gerwig, Little Women was amazing.
Right.
What's the other one that I couldn't remember her name? Lulu Wang, who made The Farewell, which I thought should have been one of the best pictures. Great movie, great director, but I do think that these 8 men made better movies. And right there, you can't really it's purely in the realm of opinion at this point.
I would agree with you. I would wholeheartedly agree with you if the Oscars hadn't already set the precedent of, we'll include a nominee or two for the sake of inclusiveness. Things like, let's be honest, Black Panther did not belong in the Best Pictures.
No, not in Best Picture.
But it's a fantastic movie. It's great. But it was more of a nod toward, hey, we recognize the way that we have been toward black actors and, you know, especially black-led movies in the past. So
Or
we're trying
movies of this specific genre.
Yeah. So we're trying to change. So we're going to toss in this nomination. Like, it was a statement that they were making. That's awesome. It's very clear that the Oscars are not above tossing in a nominee to make a statement. And the all-male thing has been going on for as many years
It's
as
true.
the all-white
It's true.
Oscars so white. You know what I mean? It's been going on just as long. So I don't think it would be hard for them to have tossed in their 8 nominations or whatever. Again, maybe it's a token a token nomination. So?
Yeah, the real problem is if they had a better history, but there has been, I think I read that have been a total of 5 female directors ever nominated, and I think it's been over 90 years now that the Oscars have been going, and only one of them has won, and that's in the 90 plus year history, and that is
Problematic.
That is problematic. That is, I would say, very difficult to argue from the point of, well, just make better movies.
Right.
No, there has to be I mean, by definition, there has to be some that is so far in the realm of outside of the realm of logical or typical probability.
Exactly.
That you
Absolutely.
can't, there has, it's a male dominated industry. And at this point, because it is weird that they would do that. But back to our original question, if
Would have been
not
more
being
effective
there
otherwise.
been more effective, I think that the people who don't watch the Oscars probably don't watch the Oscars, A, because they don't care, just movies, awards, they're not into movies, whatever, or because they have a problem with the Oscars. The people who are watching the Oscars are watching it because they care about the Oscars. I had a friend actually text me and say, I literally told me, I care more about the dresses than the actual, they asked me, how are you watching the Oscars? And I said, I'm not. I'm just looking up live results. And they said, oh, that makes sense. It's all right. I really just care about the dresses more.
Yeah.
And I think that's actually exactly the kind of person or the audience that Natalie Portman was trying to reach in her specific. She's using a tool of this award. I don't want to be, I'm not disparaging somebody who's, I'm not into the fashion. Others can be. That's
Right.
a different art form. That's just not for me. But I think that's where her protest would hit. It would hit people who would not hear about this.
Yeah, that's a really, really good point, actually, because it's an entire other art form, and there are a lot of other art forms that go into the Oscars. It's
Right.
The music that's going on during
Sure.
it, the performances that happen during it, things like that. There are a lot of really incredible art forms that people watch it for, and maybe they don't care about who the best director is.
Right. Or they like celebrity culture.
Right.
And want to see the celebrities.
They just want to see the celebrities.
Right, 100%.
And so as far as you and I, who are keenly aware of who's been nominated, who's been getting awards, and yes, women have been given the shaft more often than not.
Right.
These people are totally unaware of that. But now you can address those people directly.
Sure.
So no, okay, that's actually a really fair point that I'll give you. Yeah, I guess if you're going to say she's trying to reach those who are watching the Oscars about the Oscars.
Do I think the news stories saying Natalie Portman wasn't there would be a stronger protest? Yes. But if you're going for a specific audience, then maybe this was the best way to do it. To go for the people actually watching the event, especially those watching the red carpet part of it, which is irrelevant to the actual nominations and awards, then hey, they always ask, who are you wearing? Well, I'm wearing Dior, but what's more important is the other names on my dress.
And she did, people were filming her. She pointed directly
to names.
And then they zoomed in and scrolled down all of the names.
Right. It was maybe even to more of an extent, now I'm thinking about it, it wasn't just I'm wearing a t-shirt with a bunch of names on it. It was a very fancy Dior high class dress with names sewn into, it was like a little not scarf,
Like a
but
shawl.
just like a shawl type thing, and it just blended in. If you didn't know it was there, you wouldn't even tell.
Right.
It required specific attention being brought to what was going on, which just brings you into like to think about it more.
Right.
Yeah.
Which, and she did. She brought the attention in, and she did a good job of it. And so, in fact, what I will say is, I think her protest was successful.
Yeah.
I think she did very well for it. I agree with her protest. I think that's something that we saw very, very quickly how the black representation in the Oscars was really lacking, especially when there are fantastic black actors and directors and people out there. And pretty quickly it changed. You know, Jordan Peele got a lot of awards, and Black Panther got the nomination. And obviously there's still a lot of time and work to be done.
Sure.
But things are changing already.
I do also want to maybe this is something else I've been thinking about. Maybe she was contractually obligated to be there.
I have no idea.
I don't know how that works. Maybe with her, you know, a representation agency or something like that she is part of.
Or the Screen Actors Guild.
Screen Actors Guild.
Yeah.
You know, maybe she is actively required to be there, and so she said, well, how can I make the best of this?
That's a
very possible thing, but I can't
yeah.
really state whether or not that's true. And so, you know,
I still will say that I think maybe not more, but I'm still on the fence, I guess. But to say that if she had made Natalie Portman's best, you know, the Portman Awards.
I'm gonna have my own awards with blackjack and hookers.
You know what? Forget the awards. But something like that, where it's just a YouTube video that's 5 minutes long, and she draws attention to all the incredible female directors and screenplay writers and things like that. Yeah. And she does that, and then says, "I'm doing this because of the Oscars, and I was invited, and I was told to give a presentation, but I'm not doing it because they snubbed all of these women that I just brought up to you."
Sure.
I think that probably would have been a lot more widespread. It may not have hit the audience you wanted.
Right.
It may not have had the.
It would have had a different effect.
I think a more widespread effect.
Sure.
Well, guys, let us know what you think about Natalie Portman's protest or any of the other protests at the Oscars. In fact, let us know what you think about the idea of protesting at the Oscars in general. It's kind of become a thing these days. Let us know who your video game Valentine is.
Yeah, the more important topic.
Yeah. Let us know in the comments. We want to say a huge thank you to Granger for the use of their song, All My Friends Have Wi-Fi and Some of My Neighbors Do Too, off the album Dear Sam. Go check it out.
Yep.
It's good stuff. And always remember, save games, save lives.
Bye.
My voice sings